didn't make it.
You got
Thank
it.
you, if everybody's okay with that. And in the future, we are going to, I think, put these on Facebook also. So just so you know. But we just, with the short notice, we didn't do it. I just figured out how to do that today. So yeah, so if it's anybody cooking along, doesn't look like it, but put your hand up or let Terry know. Terry is going to, okay.
I'm gonna try too. I didn't prepare all my ingredients, so we'll see. I'm gonna use pumpkin
Yeah,
instead of butternut squash, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, I've never seen that brand. Okay. Yeah, look, last night I used yams. So and I wanted to test the recipe. I just used yams. So there they are now as part of my bootable for later with the sauce. So you just cut up a yam and steam it. So that actually could be easier for people if they're not comfortable with butternut squash, but you can also buy butternut squash already prepared. You can also, I think Costco has it in a huge bag, frozen. They also have it sometimes. I mean, it depends on the season, I think, what, but yeah, so use pumpkin, use yams, just something orange, and it's going to create this amazing sauce, the base of it. Now, what's the base of a sauce? Usually, before we thought of using vegetables, what is it? It's usually, like cheese, a ton of cheese or something, mayonnaise or sour cream, or just something hugely caloric and not good for us. So, so some brilliant person thought of, let's just do veggie based sauces, and then you add these amazing ingredients to it and you get this something that's just delicious. So I want to go ahead and start with making the tortilla chips. So just that's super fast. Let me see here. So I just usually do about 3 for us. And I use one of these and pizza cutter, and just go ahead, and I like strips. I just find it super easy to do strips, and cut them in nice thin strips. And then I've got my oven up at 400, and then I just go ahead and take my sheet and make sure that you don't overlap them like that. And just lay them all out nicely. And when you have them separated like this and you have space in between them, the faster they're going to cook and the crispier they're going to get, honestly. I've tried, crowding them a lot, and they take longer and it could be frustrating. So I just do 10 minutes. So I just like, no crisscrossing, guys. All right, stay away. Okay. All right. So then you just pop it in your oven. And this is going to be fat-free and crispy and delicious. So I love it. Set my timer because 400 degrees can become black pretty soon. So, all right. So that is just your nice crunchy side. The recipe, I think, called for making it into a nacho, but you don't have to. You can make a bowl, you can make it into nachos, you can do all kinds of different things. So the other thing I want to do is soak these, probably should have done that first, soak these pecans. So you can use pecans or almonds with hot water. Now, Charlie, do you usually do this topping thing, the chorizo?
No, because I normally use it as just the base, and then I add whatever.
Yeah, I get it. Yes, yeah. I thought the chorizo idea was pretty cool, so I decided I'm going to find something to put on top of it too. So so I just put a bunch of water here, and I'm going to put like just something over the top. That's my trick for fast soaking. And meanwhile, it's pretty quick making that, so we can make the sauce now. And of course, when you're going to make this, let me show you first how I cut these babies up, because they're intimidating, right? Now, this okay, I have levels of squash, of what's most intimidating and what's, you know, what I don't ever want to deal with. All right. Kabocha. No, I probably won't ever deal with one. They're hard as a rock, you know, and they're round and they're like, I don't even know what you do. It's bumpy. This is nice and smooth, right? So what can you do with this? You can actually, and it's got this long shape. So let's do down like this again. So what I do to make it easier is I have these peelers. I just wanted to show you these different peelers. Now this one's got the jaws of life on it here. It's like really can dig deep into things. That was, and then this one is nice too. So I've got a good peeler, and you know, wash it off. I'm going to wash this off. Wash it off, dry it. And go ahead. Actually, I tried earlier and I like this one. This one doesn't, it's easier. So what I do is I don't peel the whole thing. You could, you know, this is actually pretty easy to peel. But what I do is I just peel one side and make it nice and flat. And then peel this side a little bit and just, you know, getting that tough skin away from part of it. And then I take this tough stem off, that part. You can bake that part. You can add it when you bake it, and it's a nice little snack, but it gets in the way of cutting it in half. And then you can cut this part off too if you want, just make it even easier on yourself. Get a nice knife, of course. I love my chef's knife. This is a Pampered Chef. I wish they still sold them. They don't. But they sell knives, but not this one. So then, you know, okay, so I have it flat on one side, which is nice, right? It's not going to roll around as much. And then you can just easily put your knife in here. And then I kind of just slam it down on the cutting board. So I use my hands a lot, guys. I'm a chef. I'm, you know, using them all the time. So any kind of ways I can give myself a break, I do it. So now and this is a nice little ice cream scoop, and I go ahead and scoop out the seeds with it. You can use any spoon, but this one's nice because it has a point on it. It's not working so well right now. Scoop out the seeds and just put it flat down on your cutting board. I mean, on your cookie sheet, your lined cookie sheet. So you don't have to use any oil or anything like that. And so then you can just cook it that way. Oh, this is nice, huh? Pretty. I got these at Trader Joe's. But I only bought 2. So then when I tested the recipe, I was like, oh, what else do I have? Because I wanted to show you guys.
A quick question. Do you just take out the seeds and leave all of the fiber in there, those fibery strings? Because I try to get those out too.
No, I don't care about those.
Okay, cool. Good to know. A lot easier.
Right. You don't really, I mean, you're going to be blending this up. So, I mean, who cares? And you don't even have to take the skin off. I'll show you. So now we baked it. Voila! And if you baked it enough, this skin is just going to just blend right up. So especially if you know, now I let it cool, so it's easy to get it off. But it does have fiber in it. I'm probably not a ton of nutrition.
It changes.
But you know, if you have a Vitamix blender or a good blender, it's going to be fine.
It does change the texture if you put too much in there, just so you know.
Too much. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And do you ever just buy your squash already made there, Charlie? Or you
I
always,
do not. I do what you're doing.
You always do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
eco-friendly way.
better, you know, it's higher quality for sure when you do
And
that.
it's also cheaper.
Yeah.
It's cheaper, definitely.
Cheaper, and there's no extra plastic packaging or anything that you get sometimes.
Yeah.
I buy like sometimes bags of it because I am lazy and I hate cutting squash so much. But I've got
But you just saw a super easy way.
I know, now I know how to do it.
Yeah, just use the peeler because it could be dangerous. You know, I know people have cut themselves doing this. So yeah, I'm just gonna take off some of the skin and go ahead and just cut it up into some pieces.
Tracy, what was the oven temperature and for how long for the butternut squash?
375, and it says in the directions 30 minutes, but it did take longer. I think I set it for another 10 or so. So I set like 40 minutes. It really depends on, you know, how big the squash is. You know, obviously the part near the seeds is going to get soft, but you want faster. So you want to, you know, not test it there. When you're testing it, test the other part, the thicker part. Okay, so now we have our butternut squash in here. And so now the recipe called for oat milk. So when I see that, I'll usually go ahead and make my own by, and that's super easy actually. This is my trick, guys. If you don't have any milk on hand and you're making something that calls for it that's in a blender, you can make your own with water and hemp seeds or soaked cashews or any soaked nut. And it called for oat milk, so I thought let's throw in some oats too. Now Patty's going to be doing a cheese sauce that has more oats. This is just 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds.
And Tracy, I just normally use the hemp seeds when I do it for my milk.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, 2 tablespoons of oats, and you know, a little salt. Like it called for a teaspoon. I use a half a teaspoon in this, and a 1/4 cup. And the recipe, you guys should have received it in your emails. I just put it on my blog. And 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. Anybody not familiar with nutritional yeast out there? Raise your hand or let us know.
That kind of food that is at the root of a lot of our cancer.
Anybody?
Corn.
Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna make it a little bit spicy. And well, like last night I made it with yams, right? Yams are actually sweeter than butternut squash. So, but it was just, you know, I usually add more spices when I'm making a cheesy sauce. But I just did salt and a little bit of this, and it called for, I think, a whole teaspoon. Now that is super spicy. All right. I put a 1/4, and it was so good. Like the combination of the sweet and the spicy, we loved it. We absolutely loved it. So, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a 1/4 teaspoon again of this chipotle powder. So you could use chili powder. Oh, excuse me. I'm gonna check the tortillas. So see, what I do is I test it, like it wasn't super, some of them.
I'm just saying, if you have any dishes, I'm gonna
This
just put them
one's
in the dishwasher.
still, anybody go ahead and mute if it's not a question. Yeah, so this one's a little flimsy still, so I'll put it in for maybe like another minute or so. Yeah, see, some of the bigger ones are still a little, I like them to be super crunchy. So, and unlike the oil ones, if you store them, you need to store them really airtight, those chips. And if they do happen to get, you know, flimsy, chewy, you can stick them in your toaster oven, your air fryer, just for a little bit, like super short time. And it should crisp up nicely. again. You can do that with stale regular chips as well. Okay, so, oh, lime. I decided to put lime in it, which was not in the original recipe, but, well, I definitely wanted to do that with the yams because of, you know, how sweet they are. We'll see. So just, this is my nice squeezer. So I'm gonna go ahead and add both sides. It's not very juicy. Okay. I think that's, oh, and then the water. So so the water is going, like I said, with the oats and the hemp milk, hemp seeds to, and I like to, you can heat up the water to, the reason you might heat up the water for this is if your squash is cold and you want hot sauce. Now, and you don't want to heat it up in another pan, you know, just because. And so if you're cooking and you're ready to have this right now, use hot water, put it in the microwave. And if you have a Vitamix, you can run it for longer, or, you know, some of these tools will heat up the sauce nicely. So, okay, so let's see here. There's my trusty old Vitamix. So look at this, you guys. That is from 1990. All right.
Worthwhile investment for sure.
Yeah, just used it a few times, that's all. All right, so I started on variable, then low. It's been beat up a little bit. Did Zoom cut out the noise for you guys nicely?
Yeah. Oh, Giles is.
Oh, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe not. All right.
It worked really well, Tracy. We didn't hear the blender at all.
Yeah, it was kind of amazing.
I know, and I've been on these calls though where people are singing or playing musical instruments, and then you can't hear them because the Zoom is assuming it's like background noise or something. I wonder if they've changed that, but okay. Let me see my chips. Oh my gosh, wow. Yeah, so these are nice. They're okay, I'm going to show you something else real quick. So wait, let me see how this is. Cheesy sauce. Oh my God. Okay, that's good. It's that. Did you make yours?
It's so good. So I didn't measure anything, so I could not really speak to like how, you know, good the actual recipe is. But I added Italian spices in here because I'm going to use it with pasta. And
Oh,
it is delicious.
okay, good. So you just put like Italian seasoning in?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, cool. So I'd be remiss if I didn't every class show you guys, if possible, some kale. Kale. So I'm going to add kale to our bowls tonight. Another thing that would be really good is broccoli, obviously, Brussels sprouts. You know, it's really good to, when you're following a plant-based diet to, and any diet, obviously, to include as many, you know, cruciferous vegetables, at least 3-4 times a week, you know, possible, because they're a great source of plant-based calcium. They're, you know, great for your bones. They're great for modifying your hormones in helpful ways. They're a great source of protein. So, you know, I just like to buy this curly kale and have it on hand, and just take it off the stem and then just rip it into pieces. So, yeah. And then boiling water. You guys see that? Yep. And I like to get that water really boiling. I like to add a little bit of salt. I keep the stems for broth. So I keep that in my freezer in just a Ziploc bag. And when that's full, I make broth with it. And I know a number of you have been to my classes before, so you know we're all about this. But for those of you who haven't, so I go ahead and add it to my hot water, boiling water. This is a great tool. This is a spider strainer. It's at Target, Amazon. Just get that baby. So just like a couple minutes, I just stir it in through here. You don't even have to wash it because you're washing it in this really like hot water. Broccoli, I do this for about the same amount of time I do kale. Now Brussels sprouts, I stick them in their whole, and I go for maybe like 5 or 6 minutes with those. And they are so good, like just plain or with a little sauce on them. You know, or you can always split them in half and roast them for, of course, less time than if they're raw.
Tracy,
Yes.
I also use, I put the sauce on collard greens, and I'll add sriracha to it if it's on kale or whatever. And I thin it out so it's a little thinner when I use it on greens. So good.
Yeah. Yeah, greens, grains, you know, any veggies, beans, bean bowl, you know, like last night we had it with the black beans and quinoa. So tonight we'll change it up with lentils and quinoa. Yeah, quinoa. Okay, so now quickly we're gonna make our little crumbles, and that's super quick. And we'll see if you have any questions. So I'm gonna just put this in my bowl here. Have it off to the side. And okay, so this is where the oil came in the recipe. The original recipe didn't have it in the sauce. But it had you kind of like sauteing these nuts. So I'm going to drain the nuts. So they've been soaking for plenty of time. So you get your pan hot, and then you can just start sauteing these babies in here. And so I included a recipe where I make my own spice jars. You can use any Mexican seasoning, of course, if you can find Mexican seasoning, or just add, your favorites, chili powder, cumin, a little bit of salt. So we're making chorizo. So those are great, a little bit of oregano. So we're going to do now, we've got these all like soaked and moist, and now we're going to kind of like dry them out to make them a little crunchier. And then we're just gonna add some, oh, and this recipe, my Mexican seasoning has nutritional yeast. It's good. And I just, when I'm cooking beans, like heating them up or whatever for tacos, I just add some of that. It's so good. So I recommend that you do that and just have these kind of like spice mixes on hand, and then, you know, you can use them really liberally if you don't put salt in it, or if you put salt in it, then, you know, watch out for that. But okay, so now it's some vegetable broth. So this is my veggie broth that I make. It's always purple because I use a lot of purple cabbage, and I used to take the outer leaves and put them in the freezer, and then there you go. So a little veggie broth in here. That's the replacement kind of for the oil. So then the seasoning. So about a tablespoon of the seasoning and about a tablespoon of tomato paste. Need my tool here. Vitamix tool. It's the best tool. It's another one of those, like, just go online and get that. Even if you don't have a Vitamix, it's like $3 for this tool.
It is one of my favorite tools in my kitchen, I will say.
I use it like all the time. I have to have like 3 or 4.
I have a ton of them, like just handy always.
Yeah, it comes in a set of 3. So you can, you know, you can gift them, which I've done a lot of, and then, or you can keep them on hand. So this is your chorizo, you guys. So this can be just a nice little topping on top of your bowl. You can, you know, use some of it. It makes a lot, like a whole cup, but it's nice because, you know, you can just stick it in the little container in the fridge and just have it. So as it kind of browns on here, you can just add a little more water or broth to bring that up and that flavor into your chorizo, and also help, you know, help everything spread out a little bit. You know, it's just, the water is great because it's going to evaporate, or, you know, broth. Oil, it's just going to like add calories and fat that we don't need. All right, any questions or anything going on out there? Let's see. So yeah, I think I know or heard of most of you guys. This is so cool. Well, thank you so much for joining. And
You're awesome, Tracy. Thank you.
I hope, yeah, everybody found it a little bit entertaining, even though you didn't, you know, and easy, right? This is super easy. And that's the what I found with these plant-based recipes is, yeah, sure, if you want to eat the right way, you're going to have to get in the kitchen and do it. But each individual recipe can be pretty simple. And I am a big proponent of cooking ahead and having like these kind of your favorites on hand, right? And then you can just make your nice bowl, put on your sauce. Well, I would heat this up normally. Well, that's okay. I'll heat it up with the sauce. Just put on your sauce. Stephen will eat it cold. He doesn't care. Right, honey? And some of your wonderful chorizo on top. And what else do we have? I have some, I wanted to show you how I store cilantro. Sometimes I'll wash it and I'll put it in a container with some paper towel, or this time I was kind of lazy and I just wrapped in some paper towel and put it in the bag. And I've had this for several days, maybe even a week. And just don't ever put cilantro in the bag in your fridge unless you're going to use it in like one day, because it will just get gross. Another idea for herbs is just to put them in a jar, you know, like on your counter in water, like flowers, kind of like flowers. I found that this tool is really nice for chopping up your herbs. So you can just add, I'm going to add that later. You know, and a lot of people don't know you can cook cilantro, put it with your greens. You can put it with your, you know, when you're sauteing greens. I add cilantro to that all the time, and I saute the stems that way. They're not that great raw, but they're great cooked. Oh, another wonderful thing I've been loving is my marinated onions. And these are just onions cut up into slices with apple cider vinegar and water, like not in something that has a cover. And I'll show you my container. Let's see here. It's missing. But anyway, yeah, I just keep it in the fridge, and then you've got these nice marinated onions to add a wonderful touch to any dish. And they're, you know, it's nice to add raw onions to your diet. Why not? Wow, that stuff looks a lot like meat. Right? I don't know. All right. Well,
onions, it's half water, half apple cider vinegar, right?
right. Yes. Yeah. And yeah. Oh, wow. So you made a lot.
I did make a lot. I love them.
Yeah. So you can put them in your tacos, on your bowls, and wraps, salads.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're great in
Um,
sandwiches.
Sandwiches. Yep.
So good.
Definitely. All right. Well, so we did this in almost a half hour.
Close.
Yeah, really close.
I'll take it.
So, oh, what's at the bottom of the bowl? Terry says. So the bowl, this bowl, the
one you prepared, the beautiful bowl.
yeah. So
one.
it's just quinoa and lentils. So those of you who
Okay.
know me, I make cookies out of lentils. So we usually will have some lentils on hand. And I like to soak lentils, and then they'll expand, drain them, add more water. They cook up very fast, and bring them to a boil. They'll cook in probably about 10 minutes. And that's it. Yeah, just, and then I put some, you know, the yams. And the quinoa is yellow because I like to cook it with turmeric, which is anti-inflammatory. So I'll always add a little, I just got in the habit of adding a little bit of turmeric to my water when I'm cooking, definitely quinoa. Sometimes other grains too. Makes them a nice, pretty yellow color. Yeah. Any other questions?
Just like to say thank you, Tracy. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. How
Thank
are
you.
you?
Very
Okay.
good.
Good. All right, everybody. So the next one, Patty, I think is doing on next week. Are you there, Patty?
Yep, I'm here. Well, you know what? I think my cheese sauce will be very similar. Well, it doesn't have a squash, but I do almost the same thing. I make a chorizo type thing out of
What
soy
do you-
curls.
Oh, but you're going to make it out of soy curls, so it'll be different.
Yeah, and then I slice up onion and bell pepper and cabbage, purple cabbage, and I put the vinegar, just like you. I put like apple cider vinegar on it with a little sugar, and I keep that in the refrigerator all the time, just on hand for tacos or whatever.
I sampled
Oh,
it
you
today.
add more veggies to it.
Yeah, and
I was lucky enough to sample that today, and it is to die for. It is so lovely.
Yay! Thank
But-
you, Patty.
yeah, I use a mandolin, so they're really thin.
Mm.
Yeah.
Then you keep it, what, in a ball jar?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I
And
usually.
it's half vinegar, half water?
No, you know what? I just kind of like sprinkle like a tablespoon of vinegar on it, and that seems to be sufficient, you know. Maybe I'll put more in this next time.
Oh, just a tablespoon? Wow.
Yeah, I don't use very much, and then just like a sprinkle a little of pepper and little.
All right. Well, so don't tell us all your secrets and
Oh, okay.
experiment for the week. And so yeah, so she'll be, so you guys make sure you sign up. You can go to the Veguary link if you haven't. I guess everybody that's here has found out about it through, well, some of you might have just got the individual link, but hopefully you've signed up for Veguary. Is anybody able to put that in? I can quickly find it, I think. And Veguary. Oh, no, there it
I
is.
can throw it in the chat.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. All right, good. So that one, yeah, so that's just to sign up and you get a weekly email with supportive information. I know a lot of us here are veterans, we've been doing it, but there's still going to be something in there, I'm sure, that you haven't heard. So, so go ahead and do that. And thank you so much. And happy to have PlantDIego back in action again.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
My bowl of broccoli with this cheesy sauce on it.
there you go. Yeah, and that can actually be a meal that can do it, right? Because
I'm gonna
broccoli
have some
has,
pasta too.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
got
you can toss in pasta.
So with my
Yeah.
chorizo.
Uh-huh, cool. But you know, if you're a really big fan of broccoli and you just want to eat broccoli with the sauce, you can do that. It's got protein.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank you so
everybody.
much,
Well, thanks.
Tracy.
Any other questions? Nope. All right. Well, everybody have a great night. We'll see you next week. We also have an event going on the 13th here at the park near me, which is a hike exercise and a picnic in the morning from 10 till like 1. And then we have later in the month, we have something at Mission Bay. So you're going to need to follow that link and find out about it and sign up for each thing individually. All
Yep.
right.
On
You
the
ever forget where
13th,
to go?
the 13th is, I believe, the Super Bowl, and Tracy's going to be doing the chili cook-off at Chicago Not Dogs later that day.
Well, I know-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I got some ideas with this stuff, with this this little chorizo stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure. Good.
Awesome. So yeah, if you
Yeah.
ever forget where to go to sign up for all the Veguary things, you can just head to PlantDIego.com as well. And you can get to the Veguary links from there too.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm so happy that you guys joined us, and thanks again. Everybody have a great evening, and
Hi, thank you, Tracy.
Bye, everybody.
happy
Thank you,
Veguary.
Tracy.
Happy
Keep
Veguary.
feeling better, Charlie.
Bye.